Anglo safety patrol, okay? So, and that still hurts. That still hurts.
Many other people in the camp had similar stories, that is, of traveling through Texas and on through the other states, western states, to get to the state of Washington, and stopping because either a child or somebody in the truck, the mode of transportation at the time, the flatbed truck with the canvas covering. Because somebody was sick, or they had run out of food and they needed to stop to get some food at a grocery store, sometimes at a restaurant, or they needed to stop to make repairs on the truck if it had broken down, and not being served in restaurants, being told no Mexicans allowed, being told to leave, or being told to come to the back door if they were served at all. So those stories are a constant.
Going from San Marcos to Lubbock, stopping at Brady at a service station. You want to go to the restroom. They won't let us go to the restroom. They didn't let me go to the restroom. I asked them why. He said, well, you know, if you're not allowed, you'll mess it up.
I remember when, I think they have like a parade, the Strawberry Festival there. During the period we were there, no Mexican could be the queen. None of the Mexican girls could be the queen, because they were not allowed. No Mexican could be like the majorettes or the cheerleaders, because it was not allowed. It was just very, very defined as to what a Mexican could, what a Mexican could not do. My sister, who is very, very, very smart, should have taken some leadership position in the school, and was never given that opportunity.
The conditions, they were atrocious. There were deaths because people couldn't get medical treatment. There were stillbirths. There were miscarriages because women could not get to the doctor because they didn't have a car, or if they were able to get there, they would not be treated because they didn't have a doctor, or because they were Mexican.
That was part of the conversation all the time, how we were treated. And the fear of having a confrontation with an Anglo, and the law knowing what side they were going to take.
Mm-hmm.
That was always, even in a car accident. The conversation was, such and such had a car accident. Who with? Well, it's an Anglo. Oh, forget it. It's not a question of being right or wrong.
Once in a while, in the noches, we would go out there and fill up the gas, Father Tony's car, and one time I was out there, it was maybe like 11 at a gas station, and there was this man who drove by us in a pickup truck, and he just looked at me. And I looked at him también, because these years that I had been going, I had learned to look at somebody in the eye and not, you know, go like this. You know, because my dad does not speak English, so I would go ahead and negotiate the prices as far as the contrato, you know, what price per acre, you know, for so many people. And he, you know, so I just looked at him, and I just stared at him, and I guess he never had seen anybody, you know, Mexicanos stare at him. And so he just looked at me and he goes, you know what? You know, you're a greaser. Go back home, you greaser. And I was just like, I had maybe some differences of feeling different, but this was an outright, you know what, you're different. You know, you're different and deficient, you're different and inferior. And that, I couldn't sleep that night. I was just there thinking, I don't know, it just got me, it just very, it brought a lot of anger, but it hurt how I saw myself. And I guess that led way to the way I see ourselves and my sisters and my family and my friends and my people.
I'm Encarnacion Garza Jr. and one of the people you have seen in this documentary. As a child, I migrated mostly in South Texas to harvest cotton, melons, vegetables, and various other crops. Because the conditions faced by migrants are so devastating, only a small percentage of us are able to gain some measure of educational and economic success. However, we do not gain this success solely on our own. We draw on resources from our parents, families, and communities. This section addresses these resources. They include parental and family support, appreciation of the earth, personal motivation, the Farm Workers Union, helpful teachers, and resistance to dehumanization.
The first part of my life when I was working with my mother and father and my sisters is probably the best part of growing up. It's when we go all together and we work hard and we suffer and we sweat and we cry and we complain and all that, but it is a family. And we know that what we harvest and then that we are contributing to the well-being of that family. Not only in income, but also in solidarity.
Going up north because Mary Alice and Francis have said it served as a time together with other people, come together with other people, come together with your family.
When my brothers were smaller and we would pick cotton, of course, ellos hacían montoncitos, which meant that they went a little bit ahead of where we were pulling the sack, and they'd pick cotton and just leave it on the row, and then we'd get there, pick it up and put it in the sack, and we'd advance a little bit more. So even though they were little, they were out there, and it was a family experience. And I think that's what bonded us as a family.
And I was a little kid, I'd be, and every once in a while they would go get the water. So to me it was like such an honor to go help my brothers. Yeah, you and the Perez family were like one after the other, and I was there, and I was just a small little kid. I still remember that, and those were my best times of my life, and I mentioned that to Mr. Guajardo, and I think all of us feel that way. That's basically the nucleus to what makes us come together.
It was real clear to my parents, it was real clear to the whole community. Everybody wanted their children to go to school. Nobody that I knew didn't want their children to go to school.
For me it was the parents because, first of all, will they take us over there? We have to deal with everything, and they're the ones that tell you no. They're the ones that give you the support. They're the ones, we're here for a purpose, we're here for a reason, and to get on further in life, you have to go to school.
Parents' case, they never said if you want to finish high school or if you go to college. It was when you go, when you graduate. All of us, there's 6 of us, we all finished high school, we all went on to a post-high school institution and continued our studies. But it was the expectations were high all the time.
All of the farm worker children and families that I know want their children to go to school. They desperately know the need and the use that education has for them. Because they don't want their children to suffer like they have suffered. And so my mother and father instilled that in us also, that we needed to get as much schooling as we could so that we would have a decent life. And so apart from the fact that they made a home for us, they made a life for us, they made sure that we went to school every day, that we were interested in our schooling, even though my dad did not go to school himself, and my mother did, that they made sure that we were education oriented. Mm-hmm. And all of us did in fact graduate from high school, and some of us went on to college.
My parents may not have been able to help me economically, financially to get through college, but they supported me with their love and their caring, and with their belief that I could do it, I could do what I wanted to.
I admire him so much, and my mom too. I just can't understand how these people were so dirt poor and had raised us without no sense of formal education and raised so many kids. And out of the 13 children that they had, I was the first one to graduate from school, and I graduated from Sánchez State University, and then I went 1 year at UT Austin, came back and started teaching at Donna ISD for 5 years, and now I'm here.
My parents not only were real proud of their children and